Oh. Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. The two reasons to pray are gratitude and purpose. For 10 mornings, we prayed out of gratitude. This morning, we'll pray out of purpose. One of our community members, her father has passed away. And many more of us have family members or friends who are in the hospital, whether in North America or in Bharat. Let us all pray for those who are no longer with us, those who are struggling to be with us. Sarve santu niramayaha. May all be physically and mentally healthy. It took us 100 mornings to become silent. Prince Arjuna's silence is our preparation to listen. Upon Prince Arjuna's silence, he came to see Sri Krishna's ever-present smile. For us to listen to our own intellect, our own ideals. Our 101st morning together. What is Sri Krishna sharing to Prince Arjuna, to us? We are not the ahankara. Ahankara in English means ego. The expression of ego is separation. We are not separate from any facet of life. We are the Atma. Atma is spirit. Atma is infinite. Wherever there is separation, there is confusion. Wherever there is oneness, there is contentment. We will chant chapter 2, verse 11 again, and I will magnify the different quarters. Ashochan anvashochastvam prajnavatamscha bhashase gatasun agatasunscha nanushochanti panditaha. In the first quarter, Sri Krishna shares, Prince Arjuna, you are grieving for those who don't need to be grieved for. Culturally, he's referring to Acharya Bhishma and Acharya Drona. This is who Sri Krishna put Prince Arjuna in front of and said, look who you're fighting against. This is who Prince Arjuna is most attached to. And he's sharing, you need not grieve for them because they have contributed so much, their whole life, to society, to humanity. They have engaged in legacy work. They are legends that even if their bodies die, what they have done with their bodies will not die. So you need not grieve for that. And we experience the same with Gandhiji's Jayanti. His body died decades ago, yet his legacy work, his legend lives on. This should be celebrated, not grieved over. Prajna vadamscha bhashase. For so many verses, you have spoken like you're wise, yet you're not living like this. For Sri Krishna, for the wise, purpose is greater than the person. Purpose is greater than the person. Dharma has to be followed and furthered above all else. For someone like Prince Arjuna, person is greater than the purpose, which is why he wants to hold on to the persons and let go of dharma. Sri Krishna is sharing, that's how ordinary people live. Your potential is extraordinary. Recently in our discourse series on Tirukural, one of the messages is, we betray learning by not cooperating with others. We betray our own learning by not being cooperative. And the depth of this message is, if we all have the same purpose, shouldn't we be cooperating with each other? Shouldn't we be keeping our egos aside? The third quarter, gata sun agata sunscha. The nature of the finite is change. All that is finite, built into that nature is change. It doesn't matter if it's an article or a circumstance or a being. And so how should we interact with that which is finite? What should our relationship be with the changing? Be interdependent, but not dependent. We have to be interdependent on politicians, on the weather, on the Wi-Fi you're using, but to not be dependent on that. Dependent meaning finding contentment. If my Wi-Fi stops right now, there's no reason for me to be confused or afraid or sad. This is not in my control. As much as we feel Wi-Fi is infinite, it's not. Interdependent, yes. Dependent, no. Na anushochanti panditaha. Those who are wise, they don't just have knowledge, but they live this. They do not grieve. I'm going to share reflection-worthy thoughts here. The symptom that Prince Arjuna is focusing on, and we do too, it is on change, and in the language of Bhagavad Gita, death. They're the same. Death is an extreme form of change. Prince Arjuna is focusing on these symptoms, change and death. Wherever there's change and death, naturally there's going to be confusion, fear, sadness. But these are symptoms. If there's a symptom, there has to be a source for those symptoms. Like if I have a runny nose, that's my symptom. There has to be a source. I have the flu or whatever I have. The source is ignorance or forgetting that one is the Atma, the spirit. When I forget that my nature is infinite, is unchanging, then what confuses me? Change. when I forget that my nature is oneness, then I start to be afraid of you and all. Shri Krishna is not going to focus on Prince Arjuna's symptoms, neither ours, but rather on the source to transcend this ignorance, to stop forgetting, to start remembering who we are. This verse and the next 19, so a total of 20 verses, are one of the most powerful, potent parts of Bhagavad Gita. It is like this first verse is elaborated upon in the next 19 verses. And I'd shared with all of you, if someone is unwell or someone who has died, the way to bring peace to you and those around you is not to just chant these verses, but understand them. Live these verses. From inspiration to application. Yesterday's application I didn't share in an overt way. Covertly, your application was, be happiness. Because we're all wise, correct? We are the panditaha. So, na anushochanti. To be happiness. Were you happiness yesterday? And yesterday was Maharama Jayanti, even more so. But now his birthday is over, so we're back to confusion and fear and sadness. See how we make these events and not movements. Here is your application for this morning. Today's Earth Day. Today, President Biden is organizing a summit with 40 world leaders focusing on helping the climate. And part of this aspiration is to reduce environmental damage by 50%. So bringing this back to what we were doing decades ago. And this is a lovely thought and sad that as time goes on, we're damaging the environment more when it can't handle that damage. We need to be part of this summit too. So I'm going to send you a link to that summit with the 40 world leaders. We are approaching 500 seekers who are joining us for meaningful mornings every morning now. Live, I can see all of you, but the recorded numbers are going up. What I want our community of 500 to do is make a promise today. Take a sankalpa that for the coming year, you will harm the environment less by 5% and help the environment more by 5%. Clear? 5%, yama, don't do this to the earth. 5%, niyama, do this to the earth. 500 of us, just 5% in the negative, 5% in the positive. If we can do this, we will be part of the solution and not the problem. We'll be focusing on the source and not the symptom. Think lots, share on chinmayaniagara.com. That way everyone knows what you're going to be doing in the coming year. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.